we might actually be back into it now. Hang on. Let's just double check things. Back. That's that.
It says stream starting at 9.
Oh, there we go. Hey, okay. Yes.
We're live.
Looks like, yep, things are back. Okay, so again, hello everybody. We're back again. Things have changed a little bit since you last saw us, but Ryan decided to give me control of the live stream.
Yeah, John just bailed like he does at the end of the video.
Yep. Ryan will be back momentarily. He's going back to his office, and he'll explain what happened once he gets back.
In the meantime, I'm just going to wrap this up.
Yes, so where we left off when our stream crapped out was Andrew was showing the you're over there, showing his workflow for the Rat King scan.
So as I was saying, I mean, each of these nodes that go into these merge nodes is a different component into this master shot. For instance, here's Scott as we recorded him on our camera. And, you know, after doing all these effects, getting rid of the green screen, just drawing a mask around him, and adding different color effects and blurs to him, we finally got him to look like that in the actual shot. There's other elements like these flames you see back here, little embers in the foreground, light rays coming up through the top with, we put this on like a screen overlay, and then a little bit of camera shake at the end to just kind of make the effect feel a little more real, like there's an actual person there with the camera recording this shot versus a static image. Kind of helps. The real way you would do this, though, is kind of by putting everything in a 3D plane, ideally. And if you had like this camera move, kind of like a dolly forward, you get that extra parallax to make it seem extra real. But with the time frame that we had and the fact that I had no idea how to do any of this, this is what we came up with at the end, and it everyone seems really happy with it. I've gotten great feedback. I'm really happy with it as well.
Yes, and we're back. Jeff is now our DJ. Guys, I'm so sorry about this. My computer is just completely blown up. Like, it decided it couldn't handle it anymore and is trying to update. So we'll get through this, but Jeff will be capably doing everything.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I'll just get to enjoy. This will be great.
As I said at the start of one of these live things, this is the Let's Watch Jeff Learn a New Piece of Software hour now. Just see if he can't figure it out. Yeah, live with people watching. This will be fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so we switched over to Restream, which is kind of cloud-based, so should be a little bit smoother. And Jeff's going to be our DJ here, sharing the video. Once he gets back from somebody saying, "Hey, it's all broken."
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to like answer people's questions. Okay. So let's go back and we can share mine. You're done sharing yours. Let's do that guy right there. Share. There we go. And is this being shared right now? I can't. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to switch over to this, don't I? And put that on.
There it is.
All right, I'm figuring these things out now. Okay. So I don't know if audio is a thing.
No, there's no audio, but that's okay. It's consistent.
Yeah, it's just continuing to be consistent. I'm going to turn the audio off on my end because I can hear the audio still.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and pause that.
Yep. So this is one of those moments where the video in the upper left-hand corner that's playing is the exact lines that I am saying. It's a lot of these lines or a bunch of these little lines are lifted directly from movies, specifically the time travel rules.
Yeah, that was great. That was one of our discussions too about content. Like, this is confusing, and I think that's why we got rid of the two characters stealing our equipment, because then we're like, wait, are we in a different timeline? And we have to explain that this is a different timeline as opposed to just like 15 minutes from now, right? Or 15 days or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Even up to the final, like the final editing, like one of the last days of editing, we realized we're like, well, when does this actually take place? Because there was a lot of debate. Like, should we specify it's an alternate timeline? Should we specify that we at one point joked that this was January of 2021, so it was only a month later from when it was going out, or lots of little things like that. And we ended up just being like, it's December 15th, 2020. December 15th is a date that I used to use all the time in my high school shorts and stories, but that it's just an alternate timeline, questions. So
yeah, just our future
of some kind of world here. So,
well, and the idea too, part in the script was like the comedy of like, it's, shortly into the future, or if you watch it on Christmas, it's a little in the past, but like, this is how 2020 ended.
Yep.
It's become the apocalypse.
And everyone just kind of goes, yep, okay, sounds about right. Checks out. To quote Ryan later in the video.
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites improv kind of lines, like, oh, checks out, when somebody says something ridiculous.
Right.
This is probably one of the coolest special effects here coming up. And I think we'll probably have that broken down.
Yeah. So this one right here, I'll pause it so you can see this. This was the first test that I did while writing the script. And basically I looked for the footage, and the final edit. What you're seeing is the first 10 frames of the Carol of the Backflips video. We do not have the raw footage from this day of shooting anymore. It got lost years ago. So I had to use the actual opening scene because I knew I wanted to put Emily in the background of this. This entire shot.
Hilarious. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. This entire shot is handheld, which you'll see at the end of after she leaves, after she time travels out. It's all handheld, but right after the first 10 frames, John walks on, and then Julia comes on, and then you come on, Ryan. So there's like nothing to go off of. There's nothing we can use. So I took the first 10 frames, and it's me breathing in because I'm sleeping, because that is me from 2014. I'm sleeping, so I'm breathing in, and I was able to stabilize the shot, so there was no camera shake. And then I was able to loop me breathing in and breathing out to look like I'm just breathing in and breathing out while I'm sleeping. And then in the upper right-hand corner, you can see what we actually filmed of Emily, which was basically they just hung the black curtains, which might very well be the same curtains that are actually in that scene.
Right. Yeah. We've never gotten rid of them.
Never got rid of them. Hey, look, they came in handy 6 years later. But filmed her with a static shot. And then I was able to go through and basically mask out around all of the microphones, the lights that are hanging in front of the curtain, around the tree branches, around the presents. And I put Emily into that space because in the original footage, it's just a blank empty space. There's nothing there. Actually, I think if I back up a little bit. Yeah. So in the upper right-hand corner, that's the original shot. There's nothing back there. So that's why the idea was like, we can put a tree back there. We can put Emily back there. That'd be perfect. And then adding like a faux camera shake to that wide that then just plays into the actual take, or the actual beginning of the original short. But it worked so well, almost too well, actually.
Yeah, I know everyone was pretty amazed at that. Yeah,
I think the general feedback was people asking, like, did we recreate that set?
Right. Yeah, totally.
And then another one of those where, because our foyer is so different than it, like looking nowadays than it did 4 years ago when we filmed this, like we had to green screen Andrew into a shot from the actual opening or from the original video, just so that way it would blend well.
Yeah, that's one too that people probably don't notice, that all the walls are completely different in that previous shot.
And then this was a little last minute effect or a decision we made that I never got into the original Backflip Alone video. There's a spot for it, but I never did the effect for it. So while we were editing it, I turned to Andrew and I'm like, dude, we have to put the sparkle in your tooth then. And it's from this moment in Home Alone.
I acted in that moment, like almost anticipating a tooth like glimmer there, but like I had no idea that the original Home Alone actually featured a tooth glimmer until Jeff said it did. And
oh yeah, so cheesy.
It worked. So
it shows up twice. And that's how Kevin knows that Harry is not a good guy.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
So am I not a good guy?
You're not a good guy.
You're just a crazy person. You have a crazy idea.
You're a crazy person who says easy peasy lemon juice.
Totally not out of character.
Yeah, so you can see original footage was used there for all that, which is fantastic, but it ties so well to this, the recreation, which, yeah, so the raw edit, you see we exactly recreated what was there. I mean, okay, almost exactly. You can see, because that's not green screen, that's just a practical effect.
Because we realized we could shoot the floor, and that looks the same, and we still have the coffee table.
Yep, and magazines, and
magazines.
I think maybe the rug. I don't know if the rug's behind Andrew, but there's the rug peeking out behind Phil there, which is fun.
Yep. This whole concept of Max's character in the original Backflip Alone wanting to always go to pretending he was Santa Claus if he was ever caught.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what like helped the ending. Or what helped to write the original ending.
This stuff is all fun too, because funny. I forgot that shot on the top left.
Yep.
So that's awesome. That's 100% awesome.
It's like it's in the kitchen. The camera's kind of hiding behind the bush, like it is at the start of the scene too.
Well, and we hid behind the bush in a different capacity the other way. But this also too, like this is at the end of the day, and Jordan had to leave. Jordan, our wonderful cinematographer and good friend. And so I was shooting this, and I was like, okay, I kind of watched some of how we previously did, and I was like, let's go. No lighting, no anything. We just went, and I'm very happy how well it matches.
You could easily cut this scene into the Backflip Office video, and it would seem like, I mean, except for the fact that who's this lady time traveling? but I think it would fit stylistically. It fit perfect into it.
There is a hidden cut that was just a couple of frames ago.
We'll back it up here.
You'll see it when we hit that frame.
It's just,
probably something that
people right there.
Yep.
Right here.
Oh, nice. I can, even looking at it, it's hard to tell.
It happens so quick.
That's amazing. And then this line, you paid the pizza guy. So if you back up a little too, I'm in full apocalyptic makeup. So we had to try to figure out how to shoot this so that you didn't see my face. So the idea was like, John goes first and then I'll follow and I'll just turn my face away.
Well, I think you and John were both still in your makeup, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Because the script was originally that she got to the doorway but had to duck into the bathroom to get out of the way from you guys because we were going to see you come towards camera, but you're both in your makeup still, so it's like, well, I guess we show your backs.
Well, and I think we still had to film. John and I still had to film some stuff, and for him it was mostly just a little bit of dirt, so he cleaned his off, but mine was like the whole black upper half of my face, so I was like, well, I kind of don't want to do that. So that's how we hid that, and that was fun. And the line, pay the pizza guy, because I don't think we ever resolved that he got paid.
Nope. And because the only thing you guys got him was this hat, which is what he says the moment that John says, I don't know, just give him a hat or something.
Yeah, that's
so
right. That's right.
It explains away the fact that, like, you guys had that conversation in the original Backflip Office video. That's like, we still haven't paid him. Just give him a hat. I don't know. We don't have that money. Like,
that's so good.
And it'd be funny to know like how long the pizza guy stuck around Backflip.
And then this is a totally fake bell. So you cut the bell out from a previous shot in the older video, put it on there.
Put it on there, gave it a little bit of a sway, and then there's a faux camera move the entire shot, or just like a little bit of a handheld take.
And then we gave Hannah a little place to touch there, which was great. That really played well.
This one's fun.
It's also fun to see like us in different years, year to year.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
and
is one of
that's
those
so
fun
perfect.
shots that I love how well it turned out, because the wall behind me in the new stuff nowadays is blue. It's a dark blue wall.
Oh my gosh.
It's not white
Oh,
like
I
it
hadn't
was
noticed
back in the day.
that.
I was in that scene. I don't remember this, but they put up a white, like, it must have been like a bounce board or something
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right. Yeah, we put up a big white card.
Yeah.
That's right.
So then that way the
Yeah.
wall is white. It's the continuity is that it's still white. We
Yeah.
didn't have to paint the wall. And
And
it
then of
totally
course
looks right.
the masterful Jordan Post. So yeah, I think there's white there as well.
Yeah.
But just getting those streaks of light again. We actually rented a pretty big HMI, a big daylight balance light to do that. So, we were kind of thinking ahead, but that just matches so well. And this is hilarious. So many
This,
back and forth.
and then just to reiterate
And then
that
the perfect
I'm
cut.
still
Yeah.
there. And that's actually an unused take. That was an
Yeah,
unused
yeah,
take
yeah.
of me
Yep.
from the original scene.
Just add it in. Grab that old footage. Something to note here is we couldn't get the exact same shirt for Max. So to keep that color consistent, secondary color correction was done to his shirt to match it with the original footage.
So that's the original shirt that Max is wearing, which, okay, so backstory to this video, Max was not available, I think, in the morning when we shot the rest of the conference room scene. So the wide shot of us all at the table here, that is not Max sitting at the head of the table with his elbows out. I believe it's Maddie, who worked here at the time, one of our interns. And I think that sweatshirt, I believe at the end of the day, I think it was Grant. I think it was Grant's sweatshirt. So we borrowed it for the day, but it went away. We don't have it anymore. It's been
Oh, that's
years
so
since we
good.
filmed this. So, of course, we had to have Max. He's wearing a green sweater there. We had to have him be wearing something green. So I think we spent like 3 days trying to track down the proper green shirt. And it's not completely the same, but it's close enough that you don't realize that it's different.
Yeah, it's so awesome. We were trying to get one in stock, but it wouldn't arrive in time. So
Yeah.
we just kind of like, if people notice that, we lose. But you guys color corrected it, and I even forgot about it, which is fantastic.
It's all Andrew and his fantastic color correcting skills.
And this is great. There's more dialogue here. There was the line about, and the guys who stole our stuff, but that got cut out, and I feel like it almost energized a little bit more because you get maybe more to the time travel, and then you guys time travel a little bit faster.
Yeah, this was like the second scene that I had thought of in my head when I started writing this, being like, Max has to try. Like, I go back to this scene and Max travels back with me. He comes with me to another time just to add that extra level of comedy. Because I also, everyone traveling back in time needs to have their own thing. I didn't want it to be all the same. Like, you travel back in time, you avoid a person, you get an item, you travel out. Like, I didn't want it to be the same thing for everybody.
Yeah. Also, this is the genius. Pause it real quick. This is that Andrew mentioned earlier, contributing, explaining why the heck Max actually shows up in here, and it's so great. This little scene back here, and then Max, he has like 2 shirts on here, and his shirt's half off. Go ahead and play that real quick. But we shot it so that it's like, take the shirt half off so you can just rip it off, which was awesome. And then he comes in. What are you doing here?
Because in the upper left-hand corner, if you see right now, that's from the original video. That is the first time you see Max in the first 10 minutes of this video. He's just randomly there. And of course, we had to figure out the continuity of, well, he's wearing a green shirt in another scene, and he has to be wearing a plaid button down in the next one. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, he's just wearing it underneath. He's wearing a lot of layers, I guess.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it totally plays. I love it.
And luckily, we still had the Hamilton of the Opera costume, that, except for the fact that I have very long hair and a very long beard, is fairly accurate and seamless of a cut. Never time traveling again. Nope. Oh wait, we lost Ryan there for a split second.
I'm here.
You're back now. This is one of those moments where Ryan just yelled through the wall, and I can hear him.
My computer's back, but apparently not the video, so I got to fix that.
Okay.
Proceed.
Now this one was a fun one. The very first Backflip Christmas video at the old studio. It's fun because John's new stuff on the right. Obviously, so the set that you're seeing, the castle walls that you're seeing in the old footage, we don't have access to those anymore. Those are long gone. But so like the stuff that you see John behind on the right is just kind of a mock-up to kind of invoke a set-like vibe, and it looks pretty dang accurate, actually.
Like, I mean, it probably wasn't that dissimilar from what we actually had, on the day or whatever, or for those PK things. But yeah, this is great, and we realized we had that green screen there already, right. So
we could easily just put John in. The only thing I didn't do was I didn't redo the visual effect out the window that you guys did on the original video.
Sure.
Because in my head, I'm like, well, that was a visual effects shot, so technically it wouldn't be there. Like, this is the one time that I kind of bent my own logic.
No, it totally makes sense. It
actually makes more sense that it would still be a green screen, I think.
But because New John, and we don't have the old set, John had to be filmed entirely in front of a green screen. So luckily I was able to get a still frame of the set because you guys all walked off camera for at least like 5 frames. Mm-hmm. So I was able to grab a background plate and then comp old John into the scene again from another take.
This was great too, because you had just mentioned like, oh, there's a scene where John, we walk on and you look over and you look back and it's awkward and it's wonderful. And so you were able to write that in because you knew that content was there.
Yep. I'm like, it would be so great. Like but I love that old John apparently is just like, oh, well, we seem to be wearing different outfits, but okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
Whatever.
Yeah. This is nothing out of the ordinary to him.
Checks out. Joe blog. This is the Joe blog.
So for anybody who doesn't know, because obviously this is falling outside of the realm of Backflip, kind of. In 2015 for an entire year, or 2014 for an entire year.
On the troll, yeah.
In 2014 for an entire year, I did a web series with our friend TC. I basically every week I wrote. We wrote, some weeks it was just me, but otherwise we would write an episode and then I would film it and puppeteer. I puppeteer and do the voice of the troll. And I'd film it, I would puppeteer it, I would edit it, and I would release it all in a week. And I did this for 6 months for 12 episodes. And then, so, a little, actually less than 6 months, maybe like 4 months for 12 episodes. And because I skipped a week or two. And then took a break and then came back to film 3 more episodes. And then the show kind of fizzled out. In the upper left-hand corner, A Troll Blade Christmas. Oh, and also almost the entire thing was filmed in the bedroom of the house that I lived in at the time. So what you're seeing is my bedroom in the background. And the troll has lived on and we've done other stuff. And he's from a feature length movie that I also puppeteered into the voice for.
Mm-hmm.
And this was A Troll Blade Christmas was one of my favorite things I ever put together. It was like a 15-minute short film, an episode that was all about the troll kind of meeting up with other characters from the puppet movie and me in the upper left-hand corner, about 45 pounds heavier. But so this location we actually no longer have access to.
Yeah, this is a good shot.
It's long gone. So, but luckily from the raw footage, I had a frame where there was, or like a couple frames where there was nothing in it, but the candle in the background is flickering and moving around. So I was able to create a background plate that looped of the candle flickering. So there was some movement. And then we filmed the troll in front of a green screen, and you guys did an amazing job at kind of emulating the light that was just naturally in my room at the time. because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to lighting. So this is totally just like a happy accident that.
Well, and this is that key, that chroma key is really good too. Was that DaVinci or was that After Effects?
That was this is DaVinci, isn't it? I believe that was all DaVinci. Or did I end up doing that in After? Did I do that one in After Effects?
Yeah, because you got all the fluffy parts and stuff, and it looks great. Like I'm not seeing any, I don't know, overglow or anything.
The key, I know the keying, the green screen keying in Resolve is fantastic. Like you can get a really great key that can get those like fuzzy edges, and you can't really notice it. I mean, yeah, like if you look in the Troll right now, like around the ball on his Santa hat, and just the fuzz all around it, like it looks solid. You can't tell that
that's really good
screen. So yeah, the only thing we weren't able to do was like get the same door, obviously. But if you've never seen the original special that this is from, you don't really know. It doesn't matter.
And that's the same room that you and Max were in before you teleported out, but it's in a different angle. So I think it plays really, really well.
Yeah. And for those of you who do know the Troll blog or the Troll Blave, depending on how you want to call it, this whole scene with the troll in the new video takes place right before the start of the Christmas episode that we were showing reference to in the upper left-hand corner a minute ago, because I thought of the timeline for when things happen. You have to do that. That's how my head works.
Yeah, it's in a Wikipedia. Online.
there'll be a 5-part article that I'll write for the Backflip blog that'll break down every tiny detail.
That's awesome. Yeah, obviously drop the time machine blueprints. This so pause it real quick. That was a super fun one too, because it was like, there's a couple different versions of how we figured this out. Right. But then again, I think maybe in that brainstorming session, we were like, okay, it'd be really great if Luke built off the blueprints, but how does Troll get the blueprints? Well, let's leave the blueprints with Troll. Create that loop of like, oh crap, this is like a closed circuit. How did they actually get it, or how does this work? And we never explain it really, which is fantastic.
In the back of my head, I like to think that there is some connection. At the end of the scene, the Troll goes to get his time travel device, which is how he showed up in the beginning. And like we could just leave it simplified to the fact that it is just a complete closed circuit. It just keeps looping around. But there obviously has to be at some point in time that those blueprints came from somebody and went back into an alternate timeline that the Troll got, and then he brought him back, and then you brought him to the Troll, and that's how it kept going. But we'll figure it out.
It's fine. It's for episode 1.
Yeah,
and
what are you gonna
Aaron Williams is on. He says, "Oh, this part's live. Yes, we are back. It got screwed up. There was a not live part, and then my computer exploded, and then we switched over to Jeff's computer, and now we're back. So thanks for sticking with it."
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, please do post questions. Jeff, if you if you see chat on the right side, you can click on Aaron's message. It'll pop up. So there it is. Hey. Oh, that's part's live. We are live.
We are live. I'll keep that.
So just keep an eye on that.
Keep an eye on that. I'm gonna scale my window down a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't. It only messes with it a little bit, I guess. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Trying to figure this out. Oh, I can do that. There we go. Now I can see the chat on the side there. So
nice.
And I'll hide that so that doesn't stick up the entire time. Oh, this is a snazzy piece of software.
It is. It's really nice.
Real quick in the upper left-hand corner there, just trying to get in as many time travel references as possible. So the Troll's reading off the blueprints. There's like rules to it, and it's like to avoid the quantum realm.
Oh yeah.
So that would be from the Avengers. They talked about it the most recently. Must travel with a hologram named Al, which is from the TV show Quantum Leap, which is about a man traveling through time to fix wrongs. So that's a scene from that movie or show. And then to avoid the Morlocks, which is from the Time Machine, H.G. Wells' book, the 60s movie, which is what this is from. And then there was one from the early 2000s with the guy who did the voice of Scar from The Lion King, Jeremy Irons.
Nailed it.
Yep.
the other thing too, I forgot to mention when I saw that Avengers clip is I think the original script was Jeff traveling through, And what we often try to do is make it an ensemble. So that was maybe my biggest contribution was like Avengers. Everyone goes and gets something different. And I think that was written expertly into your script.
And I did intend on, obviously I did intend on trying to make it be an ensemble, but to get the general concept down, because I think it was more for my initial pitch, but my pitch idea is hard to just pitch. I have to write the script. I just got to write it.
Yeah. So, right for what you know.
Yeah, I just put me in it. And I don't like being that much of a center of attention, despite the fact that I'm the one that says we need to time travel. The troll is in it. I have one of the longer scenes. Despite all of that, I don't like being the center of attention for stuff like this acting. It happened like that.
You are a great actor, though, Jeff. Good work. I wouldn't mind seeing you in a feature length leading role.
Oh my goodness! I think my fiance would question that ability. So, all right, we'll get through these here. La la la! Avoid the Morlocks. This seems important. Stanley, where's my time travel / Scottish screwdriver device? And that's a little clip from a time in the Troll blog, a completely different episode where the troll travels through time. And it's to note that when we all travel through time, because our devices are different, our time traveling effect is different. But because the troll doesn't use one of our devices,
that makes more sense. Yeah, because his has this, but ours don't have maybe the shooting lights out of us.
Correct. So that was done very much so on purpose.
Ah, that's fun. I just was like, oh, we must have run out of time to get the sparks in ours.
Yeah, his is the quantum leap time traveling, the travel through time effect.
Nice.
Whenever he travels through time, it's that effect. But then ours is completely different. So that's when he showed up in the original. Obviously, the effect has gotten a little better since I did it 5 years ago.
That's awesome.
But my After Effects skills have improved a little.
And all the compositing is so subtle and great. I think that's what makes it work and sells everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, back to
these cuts are so Avengers as well.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. The text on screen, because we wanted to make sure that people knew where we were. Like where are we at? What video are we at? We're like, we have to do some sort of title. And Andrew and I came up with the idea that it should just be like the Avengers movies, which is just this big in your face text on screen. So like I found the fonts that they used because, of course, I did.
Oh, nice!
And we were like, it's the year and the name of the video, and then Andrew did the whole sound design mix, so it has like a nice like foam, like a hit sound, so you don't miss it.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it works so well.
It was important to get those dates and like the videos in there, because if you're someone like my dad who went to go see Endgame without seeing the previous Avengers, it's important to know what things you're traveling into, what time period is this, just to hopefully help out people who aren't as familiar with our old Christmas videos.
To be inclusive. Aww. That's one of my favorite lines too. Does anyone else taste metal in their mouth? That's Hannah's line. And she just keeps going with it. I love those jokes that are just kind of sprinkled in that no one else, like none of the characters pay attention to, but it's more of an audience kind of gag, which is really fun. Oh no, I can't hear you. You're totally muted. Haha.
I found my mute button.
There you are. I can hear you through the wall, but I couldn't hear you through here.
Yeah, those gags where it's like there's a really good chance that Hannah is dying right now and no one's caring. Like that's not the joke to me, but I find stuff like that funny. I find lines like that, and Andrew's like, how can you tell if your heart's inside out? Because I definitely feel like my heart is inside out, like, which just plays on the whole. There's been some references like time travel can mess with you, and like that's been in shorts and movies and stuff that you don't come back the same. And it's like yeah, maybe Andrew's heart's inside out now. I don't know. And your look, Ryan, to that. is just priceless. Just like
ooh.
I don't know. There was talk on the day that my costume made me look like an Ewok.
Yes.
Or 9 from 9.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, number 9. Yeah.
Or the mole guy from Atlantis that was going around.
Yes, the mole guy. What was his name? I thought Andrew, I thought you knew his name. Somebody called it out and everyone was like, oh my gosh, that's it.
It was Sam.
Yeah.
Sam knew his name. It's
It's fresh.
Moliere.
Basically, it's Mr.
Yeah.
The drone.
Oh, you know what? I actually filmed a lot with that camera during that scene. We should put that up sometime too.
Yeah, I found that while looking through some of the cards. Hold on. I'll show this from
Aaron.
And just to show what he's referencing. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh man. That would have been a great reference. If Grouchy Pete is still shoveling our sidewalk.
Oh, that would have been great. Just right here on the edge, he's like still shoveling. Oh, we missed out on an opportunity there.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been so great. Oh man. Well, okay, you know what then? If I was to ever like put this in continuity, well, it is in continuity in my head. The continuity is that Grouchy Pete does still shovel the sidewalk for us.
Yes. Absolutely. He's apocalypse proof.
Oh yeah, he probably looks exactly the same.
There was another boom and then the bell sound, which is fantastic. Just subtle. It's those cues in filmmaking where it doesn't make sense in the actual piece, but to the viewer, it just helps communicate more story.
Yep. There was one of the final VFX like sequences, if we had time, was that I was going to add the bell hanging, like if we go back to this wide, hanging in the background, kind of above like upper camera
left. To the left, yeah.
To the left. Like it was going to be back there, but to do it, it would also have to be partially seen in every single time you see Hannah and Emily talk. And that would have added like another 7 or 8 shots. And it would have had to been behind Luke, and there was like a lot of little technical things that needed to be done, and it was just like, you know what, if I have time, we'll do it, but we unfortunately didn't really have time to do it. So I'm just like let's add the bell sound back there, and like we'll just leave it at that, and no one's gonna question it. So get into this.
I have the best thing ever. Christmas cheer. I still taste the metal in my mouth.
I got Santa.
And Max basically hasn't changed.
Nope. This is great. Like so this was all, that was the extent of what my original ending was just that Max was going to show up.
Right.
And then it was during all of the trio writing like review that you guys came up with the idea that it's got to be the other Maxes, and I'm like, then it's got to be the Hamilton Max, and he comes in singing another song, and
that was the best part. Like it was like slight confusion on my part. I was like, wait, so there's multiple Maxes, and you were like, well, no, but there could be, and then we just went with it. It was so amazing.
And I'm pretty positive it was John that said like, oh, and then like apocalyptic Max needs to come in. It's like, yes, it's all 3 Maxes then. It's like, because apparently he's in this world too still.
Yeah. Well, this is a great showing of the special effects. So do you show the 3 different shots? Because we shot this in 3 different shots. So actually down below you can see, so we have the left pair, we have Emily, Hannah, and Max. And then the next trio, not pair, is Andrew, myself, and Max number 2, Max, villain Max.
Yep.
And then the next 3, which is very close, is Jeff, Max Hamilton, and John, but those are all shot in 3 different pairs that hopefully didn't ever occlude each other, so you could just slice down the scene.
Yeah, and I'm pretty positive. Oh yeah, you want to talk about it? Go ahead.
Yeah, that was made it really, really easy. You can clearly see the scenes if you kind of draw a line down from where Luke is sitting on the ladder, and then you draw a line between Santa Burglar Max and the post-apocalyptic Jeff. there you are. And then you just feather that a little bit, and pre-planning made that shot so easy to do in VFX.
And I think we made what's his face? We made Luke be in both the left shot and the center shot.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
because we're like, oh, he's overlapping both, so just don't move, Luke.
Don't move a muscle.
And he didn't. And actually, I was very impressed because this entire shot was done inside of Resolve, with just infusion with some masks. I thought Andrew had masked me around Santa Burglar Max.
Oh yeah.
Because we get so close that I'm like, there's no way that's just like a garbage mat. Like that has to be a mask. But he moved in just a way that we did not overlap. But we're so close that you looking at that moment, you're like, there's two Maxes there. Like there has to be, like, that doesn't even look like a visual effect shot to me. And I know how we did it.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree.
I just really like to also shout out to Rich, who's doing the audio in this scene. And that's why I used this take of Max, is because I just like that Rich is just right there in the middle of the shot, but because we knew we were going to cut it out, it didn't matter.
Yeah, that's so great. It's so fun too with Rich. He's so great. He'll get set up and we're like, all right. He's like, what are you seeing? I'm like, everything. But luckily for that, we were cutting it out. So yep. The color and stuff is so good here. Everyone walks out.
Sad so Max sad. Is sad.
Well, oh yeah, our stand-ins. So yeah, since Apocalyptic Max interacted with Scott, King of the Skulls, we stood in, Andrew and I, so that we could still get kind of the placing and feeling and timing for Max to interact with his other selves.
And this is just a traditional backflip moment where we use Scott is generally in one moment early on for a gag, just a ridiculous gag, and then have him come in at the end and basically be like, well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you have a good time with your family. Bye.
Yeah, to have that sweet message. And pause it here real quick. So that bucket actually had green fire for about 5 minutes at the beginning of our shoot day on the first day of 2 days. And then it went out and we're like, dang it. We really like that, but we don't know if we can put more green fire on top of it and to do other stuff. You know, it was just difficult to figure out because that was Hannah and her boyfriend, John. John, I think, knew how to make green fire. And so we had the components for it. But with everything going on, we're like, we don't want to try to mess around more with this. So we ended up having to bail. But there was green fire in there that no one ever gets to see.
It was discussed while we were filming that, again, if we had more time, it could have been a VFX shot. We could have put like just a little bit of it, like a little bit of green fire coming out of the top. And it's the barrel between Apocalypse Max and Burglar Max, or between Max and Ryan, if you're looking in the upper right corner. But yeah, we had debated about doing it. But again, it was one of those visual effects. It's like, we don't have the time to do it, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, and on set there would have to be a little bit of a practical component to it, I feel.
This idea is so dumb.
This idea, fingers. We're here anyway. Or whatever. This
idea came out of that review meeting between Ryan, John, and I. And I don't remember if it was you or John that came up with this idea that it's like, I think it was you, Ryan. That was like, as like an after credit scene, we do the credits, come back, and they're just standing there, and they're like, wonder what happened if we touched fingers. And they all just kind of start to lean in and start touching each other's fingers, but we'd like cut to black or we do something, and it kind of just got grouped into the actual end of the video.
Yeah, so. I thought we had to do like an Avengers after credit thing, because of the whole thing. And there might have been there was a joke in the you're describing of time travel. I can't remember specifically. I think it's from Back to the Future, but not encountering or touching your old self or whatever. Oh, yeah. So that, that just made so much sense to do a gag like this. And I think it works perfectly as like the end of the piece.
Right.
As opposed to the post credits.
And this was a tiny little VFX shot because we filmed Max 3 different times in his 3 different costumes, slowly leaning in. And as much as he tried to get his finger all 3 times to line up with himself, he didn't.
Oh no.
So, and also obviously I had to cut out. So if you look at his hand in the final shot compared to his hand in the raw, you see that he's overlapping you. So his hand, his hand, and then Hamilton Max's hand are both cut out of the backgrounds so they can overlap Burglar Max.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added a puppet warp to them because Apocalypse Max was too low and Hamilton Max was too high. So they were all kind of coming in at weird.
Shut the front door.
So there's a puppet warp that slowly, as it moves in, slowly brings them all together just ever so slightly.
Wow.
So they're all in line. And then Andrew, after I did the effect, we're like, well, there's got to be like something that's happening. Like you see something. So he added in this like little globe effect.
This was like 30 minutes before we were supposed to submit the video.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of like that lens distortion happening there, lens reflection.
We just wanted something because it's like it's almost too anticlimactic that they're just leaning in and nothing happens. Like, so having that just like little like and we cut to the credits, kind of just a fun little like what actually happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the Christopher Nolan Inception.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah, and I think the question mark was John's idea, just being like, we don't know. This could lead into a sequel somewhere down the line. It doesn't have to be a Christmas video, but
yeah.
Like, what happens to Max? What does that do? Does that cause like that timeline to become our timeline? Like, do they all end up in?
I mean, maybe it takes them into a whole different universe where there's a Rube Goldberg machine.
Exactly. There you go. So connecting into next Christmas's video.
Exactly.
I mean, basically, this year's Christmas video connected the last 6 years worth of Christmas video. So now this is the end game of the MCU phase 1 or whatever. Yep. And now we're just moving on to now we're going to just move on to a new era of storytelling with
phase 2.
Phase 2 with just a tiny little bridge to get us into it, and then it's all brand new stuff after this.
That's right. We'll call it Bell and Christoph Vision or whatever.
Perfect.
Christoph Vision.
Jeff Vision.
It's the VCU.
Yeah, exactly. I like that a lot. and Max will forever be a part of it.
Yeah, I'll just keep roping him into stuff. That's the thing is, I wrote the script with Max in it, and I wrote the script with Phil doing the voice as Phil before even asking anybody. I'm just like, no, they'll do this, right? They'll totally come back. And
I got good friends.
Yeah. And Phil was the only one I honestly wasn't sure of, but Max, I'm just like, so I'm pretty positive. I told him like, so I wrote you into the Christmas video. You're in it a couple different times, and we're going to need new footage of you. So I hope you don't mind.
Yeah. So we do have an actual question as we're wrapping up here. So if you throw that up, I can talk about it. So, and usually we use OBS, and it usually works really, really well. I can get a lot of different graphics in there and get different people in there in conjunction with Skype. And other things. And for whatever reason, I think it might be maybe an OBS update, because I updated right before we went live this morning, which was never a good idea. It just started crunching. So my encoding time went really, really crazy, and it kept slowing down. And so people would have trouble on the earlier video with audio, like audio would disappear. And I think it was because I had their 3 video, my video, and I was sending them a copy of video, and I was also capturing the video to put into the feed. And I'm just on this MacBook Pro, which is pretty beefy, but it was having issues. I think the other issue was it was using a GPU encoder instead of a CPU encoder. And I had switched that because it was working a lot better last time, but I think there's just too much for the GPU, but the CPU could have handled it. So there was an issue there, and I was like, I'm going to restart. And I restarted, and my computer started updating because it's a piece of crap. And then so I ran over to Jeff's office, and we use Restream. That's what we're on now. That's like the streaming software. We use Restream to stream to all the different platforms. And they, over the last year, over the last 9 months, came up with this studio that you can actually produce your videos in. And it's actually really, really robust right now. Like we could actually change the background to our happy hour background. Jeff right now is playing DJ, which is fantastic. It's a little weird because I watch myself and there's a delay. So it's very difficult to do. I'll just look at the camera.
There you go.
But Jeff's playing DJ right now. He has an app. This is all being run in browsers. This is Restream Studio. He can show all of us. He could show me bigger. He could show one of them bigger. You can switch into our, we can screen share, things like that. You can also upload content.
Whoa!
Yeah, there you go. You can see over on the right side of the frame here, you can see we got comments that Jeff just has to click on a comment and it comes up, hide show like that. He can hide show any of us there. And you can see down below the screen, there's those different views that we have. So there you go.
That's tricky.
Yeah. And they've been developing this so fast. Like the capabilities that we have now were not necessarily here a month ago. And then what we had a month ago was not here 2 months ago. So if you don't have a beefy computer for OBS or don't want the hassle of like OBS, Restream Studio is phenomenal. And especially when I'm doing really complicated stuff like this, we might just jump into Restream Studio anyway, because, you know, you don't want a computer crashing when you have this happen. Because when we actually are doing our live stream professional stuff, we have all this hardware. So it's all hardware video. And that stuff doesn't crash just because of the way it's built. And it's not in software. It doesn't run out of memory or CPU or anything. Software you can run into issues with. And then your other question, free, standard, or pro. There is a free version, I believe. It doesn't save your streams for long. I think you have a max of like 3 different destinations. And they may keep branding. So you may have Restream branding on there, but you can probably get Restream for something like 10, 15, 20 bucks a month or something. And it works. It works really, really well.
This is really snazzy. Like, I like this.
Yeah, maybe next time we'll just have like Luke do it and we can just sit here and participate and listen. Because honestly, for me, not clicking things, like, oh my gosh. So it's like 90% of my brain is back.
Can you change the color, Jeff?
Can I change the color?
Yeah.
So in graphics, yeah, he can change the background stuff. I think we have a happy hour. Actually, go to graphics and look down at the bottom for background. There should be a happy hour in there.
Yeah. There you go. It's there.
Yeah,
it's back there.
Yeah, we have used this before. But yeah, so that's the joy of live stream. Anything else, guys, you want to talk about or pitch in 1 minute as we wrap up here?
I will just say that I enjoyed making this video. This was a great time. And that breakdown video, I don't know or if we might share that on social medias or whatnot. Or
oh yeah, let's do it.
We have a version of the video that is just the raw VFX, no VFX full screen, in case you wanted to see that as well. But otherwise, I thought that'd be a nice kind of simple thing. I was going to do a pop-up video, but I'm like, nah, don't have time. That works well.
This works so well. Yeah, it's great.
It's like, Andrew.
Ditto. It was a lot of fun to work on. Really cool change of pace to work on a post-apocalyptic sci-fi video. Never thought I'd be doing that. So yeah, can't wait for the next 5 years from now when we get to Marvel Cinematic Universe phase 2 conclusion.
The BCU. Thank you very much.
Oh, my bad.
And what the heck is on the board behind you guys? There's a ship with an anchor and a fish.
It was just empty before, so I needed to draw something in like 4 minutes.
He had to just draw something in 4 minutes
because it's amazing. I love it.
It's our progress board, but we haven't gotten back to like what we need to work on since we got back from the holidays. So Andrew drew a ship.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's on me.
All right. So that's it. If you do have more questions, please let us know down below. Look at that computer. So hot.
So hot. Oh yeah, it is very. It's very what is happening? You're making everyone sick at home.
No, it's all right. We like it. It's like somebody holding a camera. You know, when you look on social.
It's like or every Michael Bay film.
And Aaron just realized that you guys are in the same room. Yep, that's the edit suite. And I'm right next door. Let's do it again.
Ready?
Yeah, maybe. Power.
Cool.
We're touching.
Yep. Right through the wall. Oh, I actually felt that. All right. So thank you for tuning in. We will be back next week with another guest. There's a couple options. We're trying to nail down somebody who's available next week. But thank you for watching. There's probably a part 2 to this video down below, since we had those errors on the live stream earlier that we had to restart into Restream. So please do check that out. Let us know if you have any questions, and we will follow up and we will answer them. If you haven't watched our video yet, you can check it out anywhere on social or our YouTube channel. I think we also have letsbackflip.com/Christmas. Maybe. Probably should have looked that up beforehand before I said that. But yeah, if you look that up, that should probably come up, and you can get all the old videos as well. I think Jeff's looking there now.
Yes, that is currently up as a thing. And yeah, all of the old videos that we reference, except for the Troll Blade, but all the Backflip ones are on here. That was not a dig. I was just stating that.
Yeah. No, let's see if you can get a title up with that URL while I finish up here.
Oh, I see. A title. Okay.
Yeah, no, you got it. Yeah. Anything else? Thank you. Thank you for sticking with it. Those people who jump back on. We will be next week. There's a huge library too. You should check out. And if you're not, you should definitely, there you go.
I did it.
You should definitely like, subscribe, follow, hit all the things. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We stream to Facebook and Instagram. You should check out our live stream yesterday where we prank Scott, and who was it? Andrew was like, if we turn into like a prank channel, that'd be okay too. I'd be okay with that. So maybe we'll do some more of that. That's all we got. Jeff, after I say bye-bye, you can click the end.
We could, if we're a prank channel.
Turn your volume back on.
I'm going to turn my mic back on. We can change our company name to Jackflip.
Jackflip.
That's all I got to say.
Oh my.
All right. With that.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.